Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Cantina Corner podcast. As always, grab yourself a nice beverage, grab yourself a seat, get comfortable. We are getting into another show here. But before that, make sure that you like, subscribe the YouTube page, all social medias, hit that bell notification on the YouTube page when we upload these videos. That way, when you go hit the bell, all notifications, it'll notify you for every single episode that we post. That way, you can be notified the minute that they go live and you can stay current with us. And always make sure you check out the Twitter, Facebook, the Discord. Check all those things out. Everything will be linked within the Facebook page mainly, but everything will be connected, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah. Just hit 500 on Facebook, by the way.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Golf claps all around. Golf claps all around. We hit a milestone, people. Couldn't have done it without you beautiful fuckers.
Should I do house pop now?
House pop.
House pop.
Don't show your gun, but yeah, do it.
A finger gun.
I got two of them, dude.
Oh, hey.
I got three.
Chill.
Ooh.
I don't want to know what the third is, bro. Just keep that one holstered. But yeah, we're going to kind of get into not like random discussion like we kind of have been doing on the Mondays, but we've got some stuff that we want to discuss, and then we'll probably just go off the rails as usual, but it'll be a good time. Kind of one of the things that I know we want to discuss that's been going on, if you have been paying attention to any news, is the G7 summit. Where old good daddy Biden is crypt keeping walking over there in Europe, talking about nasty gas in the air and how we're all going to die from pollution. That was supposed to, I guess, happen I don't know. How long have they been talking about this, that we're supposed to die from?
It's always supposed to happen in 20 years. And then when it's, that time's up, it's in another 20 years. Because when Al Gore was saying the same shit way back in the day that we'd be dead by now and shit. Like...
That's what I'm getting.
The time period,
Yeah. We just gotta move the chains. We gotta move the chains of climate change. So yeah, they're over there finger fucking each other, talking about that, and smiling. And I'm not wrong. That's all what they're doing. I mean, they all go over there to talk, and you've got the fucking head person in the UK sitting there like, it's such a breath of fresh air that you're here and we're speaking with you, and now I don't have to try and coerce with somebody that actually will give me shit on things going on.
You don't have to talk to the plebs.
Yeah, you don't have to talk to people like Trump, who is actually going to be aggressive. He could just talk to this geriatric fuck.
Remember,
wasn't it push somebody around?
Wasn't it the G7 summit where Trump moved that guy out of the way when they were walking on stage? He literally grabbed him and moved him out of the way, and then walked to the front of the line.
What was it? There's that other one where he was shaking hands with the leaders or whatever, and then Justin Trudeau came up and he just turned away from him.
Gave him the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
It was also where they had that infamous picture of Trump sitting there, and they had the other officials leaned over a desk, kind of getting in his face, and he's just sitting there like this.
No, yeah.
He's the only one in a chair, and they're all like this in his face and shit. And he just stone faced, I don't give a fuck about whatever you're trying to do. And it's so polar opposites what we're seeing from what he did and how it was taken, not to mention the jabs that the media did and how they're covering G7 summit this year as opposed to when Trump was doing it.
The G6,
the G6 plus one, as they like to call it, which is okay, first of all, no matter where you stand on the political line, at some point, and I still, even though I despise Biden, I still have respect for the seat and office of presidency. Okay, even if I saw,
Yeah.
I do, and that may
You're
be
an idiot.
That may be the military side of me. I can't help it. It is what it is. I still respect the office of presidency. So even though I despise Biden and I hate that man to his core, if he still came up, I would still say Mr. President, because it's a respect factor. That's just, it is what it is. I hate him to his core, but he's still the president. I will refer to him as such. What?
War criminal.
Mr. President, the war criminal. I would still preface it with Mr. President in front of it. But what I'm getting at is the fact that there is no, and I understand we're in a country of free speech and, everything like that. I get that. And I fully support that. But when you've got the media talking and we've got Trump going over there and they're like, oh, the G6 plus one, basically saying he's just a fucking afterthought in this, game of political leaders. And then, Biden goes there and they're like, oh, look at this, the G7, it's so glorious. And they show him and his wife waving and this and that. And they're just flowers, sunshine, and rainbows. It's I don't understand why they can't just report on it. report on the G7 summit. We're not talking like about the specific person. We're talking about the whole aspect of what the summit's about. Like that's what we should focus on. And I don't know. I saw a thing on that and it just pissed me off.
The whole summit itself though is fucking stupid.
It is stupid, but I'm just saying we should talk about the summit as a whole.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that's just my opinion.
Oh, I think it's a fucking joke. Just like when Trump pulled us out of the Paris Climate Accords and they were like, oh, this is a travesty, blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, Biden's going to put us back in. And then one of the people from Paris, the lead officials, was caught doing illegal shit going against the Paris Accords, who was also one of the same people that was talking shit about Trump leaving it. And he was going and doing illegal shit anyway that was going against what he was preaching about. So it's like the whole thing's a fucking joke.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what these elites are. They're all just a fucking joke. That's why I was like, I wasn't a huge fan of like Trump and what he was doing, but it was just great having him up there to just tell these elites to fuck off and just him ruffle their feathers, because it's every other president we have is all chummy and all this bullshit with them. They're all part of that just elite group, and it was just great watching him get in there and just fuck shit up.
Here's what's interesting is I think when the G7's going on, you usually like the climate change and that whole like the science and all that shit usually ramps up pretty hard. You know, you got like the Greta Thunbergs or whatever the fuck her little bitch ass name is. And yes, I just tough talked like a fucking 13-year-old, however old she is.
Tough talking dead body, dude.
Yeah, nothing harder to solve than a floater. But usually that's ramped up, and I feel like this is just me personally. I feel like they don't have to ramp that up for their own agenda anymore because of COVID, and it seems to be all like pandemic related now. And
that and the people that got in power now. There's not necessarily need to push that narrative and get those like people out there to really push it theatrically anymore, as much I should say. Like you're saying, because under Trump, you've seen that stuff. People were out there doing shit. They made sure they pushed it hard, but they had an opponent to fight. Now they pretty much own it. So they don't necessarily, need to be, putting all that money towards that. Now the money's, back behind the scenes doing all that shit.
That's just like, I know we weren't going to dive into it today, but the Great Reset thing, they have owned it this year, and they're putting it like on their, they're literally using and owning the slogan, the Great Reset.
It's just like that damn Time Magazine article. They literally, since they've basically won the election, they really have no problem just almost playing their full hand now. Like it's just, we're rolling with this. We don't give a fuck. It's fucking weird.
No, they're literally just being so brazenly like transparent about it without being transparent. Like it's insane. And if you don't know, like we've talked about this stuff a little bit before. When we referenced the Great Reset, I think it was in the last one or the one before this episode.
There's a couple when we talked about it, but last one definitely.
Yeah, we kind of went like more heavy into it, and it's like if you're not paying attention to this stuff and trying to read between the lines and figure this out and really see what's happening, like deeper than face value, like I said, like we said before, it's scary shit. Like I almost feel like this whole G7 summit thing anymore, in Trump included, when he was there, regardless of what we say about how he acted when he was there, it's almost like a fucking cult. Like these fuckers just come together and it's like, they show them on the news like, oh, this is what they're talking about. This is what they're doing. But it's like, what are they doing behind closed doors? Like, what are they really, really discussing? I don't want to hear when I watch the news on how great the president had with a fucking beach barbecue and how he loves the weather in the UK. I don't give a shit about that. All right. If I want to hear news like that, I'll go read fucking People magazine and hear about what Kim Kardashian had for lunch. If I want to hear news like that, I want to hear about what's going on at the summit, not what this motherfucker's eating and how great the beaches are.
The way news is covered into it is weird. It's totally just taking a whole like complete 180, and people can't see that. It doesn't matter what side you're on. If you can't see the complete like change, it's just like it's eye opening in itself. It's like we did talk about last episode too, or whatever, when we did Fauci and his emails and stuff. When you see how closely the government worked with Facebook and stuff like that, it's like that should be something that's eye-opening for people. But we could get into the Great Reset.
Oh, and
You can
not
do it.
only what you said about Facebook, the fact that those emails were redacted and they had no reason to be.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely no reason to be. It's not military intelligence. It's nothing like that. No, like nothing from the intelligence community itself. It's the fucking what is it? The National Institute of Health, right? NIH
Yeah.
or whatever the hell it is that he technically works for, part of the government. No reason to redact that shit. None.
Yeah.
no.
Not to mention he's not an elected official. But do you think there's something to like them desensitizing the public to things so much? Because like when you hear like the Great Reset, I always think of it as a theory. Like first time I heard it, I know this is gonna be totally controversial. It was from Alex Jones, but and it's like he's pushing that for forever. And it's like when I sometimes when I say it, I say the Great Reset theory, but it's like it's no longer a theory if you're literally just going to use that terminology,
Yeah.
like in your own words, like that's in the summit title. Like
You can go on the World Economic Forum's website and read about the Great Reset. They detail
you
it
don't
out
even have
there.
to do that. This is where I actually legitimately today got some chills because I was just kind of looking into the Great Reset and stuff. You go on YouTube. Anybody can do this. If you're watching this, you're already on YouTube. Type in the Great Reset and just hit enter in the search. Like you would think you're going to get some weird, like random conspiracy theory. Literally,
Nope.
like the first 20 videos are from the World Economic Forum.
All their own videos
All
talking about it.
positive, like confirmation biased of what the Great Reset could be. And it's like, okay, this is weird because this is literal programming
Mhm.
to what this is. Like it's started. Like it has started.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think COVID pushed that line because it used to be climate change. Well, climate change isn't really helping us to push the ball. Boom, pandemic. We got it. Plandemic, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think they definitely took advantage of it to further their agenda for sure.
It says right here on the World Economic Forum, when I went to the website, it says right at the top, the Great Reset. There is an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis to improve the state of the world. The World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes on to talk about all this other shit. And it's like just reading that statement alone, like it's just unnerving.
You will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah. You see what just happened last year? The richest people in our country increased their wealth by whatever the percentages are fucking ridiculous. And how many, and like we talked about last episode, how many people are out of work and shit now because the government forced businesses closed. It's like, yeah, those same people are going to be the ones who own everything, and now you're going to own nothing. It's what did the one video was like shown, like you'll rent and you'll be fine too with that or whatever.
Yeah.
You'll rent anything you need. Like, oh, so somebody still gets to own it and profit off of it, but you're not allowed to have that
A
opportunity.
drone
anymore.
will drop stuff off to your house.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird, dude. The way they
It's
just like
extremely
promote
fucking
this
weird.
shit, and people are just like, yeah, all right.
It's so fucking weird.
And I mean, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and it's a wonder why you think that now with all these vaccine rollouts and everything that they have, that there's still people out there, a huge, massive amount of people that are still saying, like, please stay home if possible. It's turning from like you need to quarantine to like imprison yourself. Please just voluntarily imprison yourself and stay in your domicile. Like, don't go outside.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish I was still working from home. It's only been 1 week and a day, but oh fuck.
But that's nice, but that's like almost like oh, here's an olive branch, and you're like, ooh, this tasty little morsel, and then they're like, I'm gonna focus on this, and then like they just do all that other shit because you're like, I'm happy to work at home, and it's like, good, stay there, you lemming.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something that I don't know if this will freak you guys out, but it did to me when I thought of it today. And I used to be a huge component that because like cryptocurrency has been crazy like the last few years.
Oh yeah.
I really do. I came to this realization today. I really do think that the way they are driving up inflation on the dollar, that Bitcoin will be the currency of the world. And at some point, they will flip the switch when the inflation gets so high. And instead of just being like, oh, we have to try to correct this issue. Nope, boom, we're over to Bitcoin. And if you didn't get on board, and now it's way too expensive for normal people to get on board because it's like fucking $60,000 for one fucking Bitcoin, you're fucking left in the dust. And I was like, holy shit. Like, thinking about that today, I was like, fuck.
I can see that.
They could just do whatever they want, spend as much money as they want, and then when they want to flip the switch, they can flip the switch.
Yeah. And if you got a problem, they got military to do something about it.
Yeah.
They got the force, they'll do it. And the government's shown that they'll kill its own citizens.
Yeah, as of right now, real time, June 15th, 12:54 a.m., which was when this was put out, as far as like the stock market with Bitcoin, one Bitcoin equals the accumulative amount of $40,373.
Yeah.
And that's roughly down from what it was at its high point back in May 15th, where it was like just shy of like 50K. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy. What's funny, not funny, but just because we're talking about Bitcoin, because I looked ever since you brought it up, Cody, about like, you know, your thoughts on Bitcoin and stuff, when I was re-listening to our old episodes, doing some editing and whatnot, I started doing some research more on Bitcoin because I was like, you know, I want to see what more info's out there about it, because I haven't looked deep into it other than like my knowledge of it, of what it was.
Putin.
And I watched a story where this guy, back before Bitcoin blew up and became like a huge thing, like it was in circulation, but it wasn't worth what it is now. This guy was having hard times, and he was a single father, had a daughter. He wanted to order pizza, and he didn't have like the actual US dollar amounts to order pizza. So he had Bitcoin because he had bought into Bitcoin trying to invest and stuff like that, but it obviously wasn't taking off yet. And he convinced a friend of his or whoever it was that he was talking about in the interview. He was like, I'll give you 13 Bitcoins if you buy the pizza. I'll trade you 13 Bitcoins. Apparently it's supposed to be worth something someday. And you buy the pizza. It was like $20 worth of pizza. And that's what he traded this person. So he sent him 13 Bitcoins, traded it. And it was like 3 months later is when it took off. And they were like, well, how much would that be right now? And he's like, about $5 million when it was at its peak. And it was just like, what? Like he basically paid over 5 mil for 2 large pizzas. And it's like just the fact that it's like, that's worth nothing. Now it's worth like 5 million. And it's just like, it can go like that.
Oh, it depends on who backs it. And that's my biggest thing. Cause I was watching a Glenn Beck video when I started thinking about this, and he was talking about capitalism and how, you know, the Great Reset talks about how, you know, capitalism hasn't worked. That's like their biggest thing is, you know, it doesn't work for you anymore. And it's like, well, let me say what I'm going to say. It doesn't work right now because it's not like true capitalism right now. It's not a free market.
It's not at all.
What it is right now is like all these politicians go to these big tech companies. Oh, how much money are you going to give me? All right, we'll make sure you get funding. Like, we're going to pick and choose who is going to grow, who is going to have the resources to become massive, and we're going to leave everyone else in the dust.
It's the crony capitalism, the corporate or social corporate welfare. Sorry, crony socialism. It's all the same shit. That's the same thing. When I was watching this shit and I see them talk about that, I'm like, you guys are literally acting as if we have actual true capitalism. No, we don't. No. We haven't. God, since maybe the country first started, and even then it was quickly like replaced. Like
it was very. I do think a free market is probably the way to go, but its biggest strength is its biggest weakness. You know, it's just like, it's easy to infiltrate. It's easy to get corrupt. Just like I guess any form of economics really is.
Yeah.
You know, because humans are in charge, so it's going to be corrupt eventually.
It's just best to have the government hands off and let the market do its thing, because you invite the corruption a lot faster when you bring that in.
They promote this. Oh, they're a private business. They can do what they want, but really they're not. They're not a private business anymore. And that's my biggest thing. I know I have a few socialist friends, and I always tell them, I'm like, listen, you love socialism so much. I want you to look at 2020. You were the biggest one bitching about Jeff Bezos and the fucking guy from Zoom making all this goddamn money. It was literally, we went into a socialist state. We shut down small business. We let the fucking government handle everything, and the fucking rich got richer and the poor got poorer.
The only people allowed to do business was the rich elite that were already running these huge ass companies. They shut down all mom and pop shops and shit like that.
It's like, yeah, we became more equal, but not, we became more equal with poorer people. The middle class is going to go towards the poor end. It's not going towards the rich end. You're fucking retarded if you think that. You're absolutely fucking retarded. I'm sorry. It's been too long in history for you to keep thinking that. And I hate the fucking, well, they've never tried communism like this. They fucking tried it millions of different ways, dude.
Yeah.
It always ends up the same fucking way. Either fucking innocent people are getting fucking killed in the streets, or they're just fucking dying from starvation. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there, but
no, you're good. I loved it. I just wanted to hit on something because this is one of the articles when I was doing my Bitcoin research that actually involves like the Great Reset talk and stuff like that. And I just want to run this by you guys to see what you think, because it kind of gives a breakdown of like Bitcoin, its history, the pandemic, and everything leading into what we've been discussing. So the article states, last year was the year of a pandemic. Well, to kick this off, let me see if it's dated so I can give reference on that. They don't have a date on here to see when this was posted, but it says last year was the year of pandemic. Face masks and quarantines became the new normal and changed the world has forever. It was also an unforgettable year for Bitcoin. During the lows of pandemic in the March, it traded below $5,000. Then in the fall and into 2021, it surged. It hit $20,000 by December, around the peak of the last run in 2017. And then it hit $30,000, and following that, $40,000 in January of 2021. The Bitcoin price has soared around 250% since October. Moving past the pandemic, the World Economic Forum has come up with a plan called the Great Reset. Basically, it means a complete transformation of the global economy. The idea is that society must transform in response to economic turmoil triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic, in anticipation of further economic turmoil related to climate change. Some think it's radical and ambitious. The WEF, or the World Economic Forum, see it as an opportunity for recovery. However, it is already clear that these grand plans are in stark contrast to the principles of cryptocurrencies. Centralization is a big part of the Great Reset. And that's just one big paragraph out of like this huge page of information that I was reading.
Finish. Go ahead.
No, don't finish, please.
It would take it would take forever. I just that first huge chunk I figure encapsulated a lot of like what we're discussing, how it just boom out of nowhere. This happened, this sword, and it's like all this stuff's happening from it, and it's like you're not seeing what's being painted right now, this picture.
It is interesting to just see how fast that's grown.
Yeah.
And how many rich people are on board with it. Like, you know, people loved when Elon Musk was accepting that as payment for a Tesla and stuff. And I gotta admit, I've kind of turned on Elon in the last like few months.
How so?
I think he's a smart dude. I just don't trust that motherfucker. I don't trust that motherfucker for anything.
I love his science,
There's one rich dude I trust in this world, and
Bill Gates.
No, don't ever fucking. I'll fucking cut you from this phone call, dude.
Can we talk about how weird it is too that everybody just accepts him as like a fucking doctor or like whatever the fuck? Like, I don't understand that.
A medical expert who went to a fucking tech school.
I'm sorry. Continue with your point.
It's Dave Portnoy. That's the realest rich dude in the world. Anyways,
and a humble one too.
Elon is one of those things. Not things. Well, he is probably a thing, but
he's a good person.
Yeah,
he's one of those people that I believe had good intentions, but I think he's been corrupted by government money. Personally, I mean, SpaceX was going to go down the drain, and NASA just came in and just said, "Oh, we'll just fund you."
That's what I was going to point out. I think that's when it turned.
I don't know, man. He's just been different. He's been real different.
The whole fleet for the White House is going to all Teslas and shit.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they got to him.
It's got that like comic book type vibe where it's like a scientist has good intentions. He wants to do his work, but then he gets corrupted or backed by things where it's like he's like, all I cared about was the science. He's like, I never wanted any of this, but it was the only way to get to what I wanted in the science and discovery. And
We're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say, SpaceX, because I think when you brought it up, that was like what I thought is that was the first turning point of where he changed, because SpaceX, it's like when you're doing stuff like that, you've got to get involved when it comes to like government and stuff, because you're going into like other territory.
I think it goes deeper than that though, because he was part of the group of guys that put together PayPal. Most people don't know that. I mean, that was like his first big break.
Do you think he was corrupt since then?
I mean, look what PayPal turned into, dude. eBay jumped on it. eBay was like the fucking site where everybody was going to sell stuff. I mean, you can deposit, you can pay for stuff on PayPal off anything with your Google account. I don't trust anything that Google allows, personally. That's fucking straight up CIA funded fucking.
Nobody should, yeah.
That thing was created by the CIA, basically.
Google literally helped create that shit in China for the social credit score and all that stuff, all their like surveillance and everything. They literally helped them set that up. Should never trust Google.
No, and it is CIA stuff because they killed Jeeves. They took him out.
Jesus,
they iced him. Ask Jeeves. Nope, can't ask him anymore. Google killed him.
Nope, he's silenced.
Is Ask Jeeves still up?
I don't know. Let me look that up.
I feel like it's got to be up as a search engine. It's probably terrible. That's why I use DuckDuckGo. Give us a sponsorship, DuckDuckGo.
Oh, I would sponsor the shit out of DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, they get the results that you're looking for. You don't got to sift through bullshit.
Yeah.
No, if you try to type in Ask Jeeves or anything like that, now all that comes up is ask.com, and it just says, what's your question? And it's got like,
why is the CIA run Google? That's my question.
Well, there still is an Ask Jeeves. What are you looking up, Adam? What the fuck are you using, dude?
I typed in Ask Jeeves.
I got it right here. I can ask Jeeves a question.
Ask him why the CIA runs Google.
Let's see what it says.
No, you're not supposed to know that. We have your IP address.
Oh, we hear in the background, FBI, open up.
Get swatted.
He gets swatted.
There's just a ton of shit on this.
It's like that.
Give me a title.
There's what is this? Google's true origin partly lies in CIA and NSA research grants.
Oh wow! Straight up, and I asked Jeeves, come in with the truth.
How the tech giant is helping the state spy on us.
Oh my god!
In QTEL.
Maybe we need to Ask Jeeves fucking sponsorship, dude.
Social media is a tool of the CIA. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, look at all the fucking Twitter bots.
Speaking of which, did you guys do the most recent iOS update?
Talking about them to do it randomly the other day or some shit.
I did it, and the only reason I agreed to it is because I know they're gonna fucking do it anyway. So I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, you're in trouble, dude. You're gonna be fucking tied to someone's. You're gonna be a human centipede soon.
Oh man.
South Park.
Human centipede.
Yeah.
No, but it was
cuttlefish and asparagus.
Hold on, Caillou. It's gonna be alright. I believe in you. Or vanilla pesto.
Great episode.
Oh, the cuttlefish is not sitting well.
Got the cuttlefish and asparagus. He always said asparagus with it. It's fucking great. Anyways, what were you saying? What did it say?
The new iOS update, when I updated it, once I updated any app I clicked, I'm talking any of them, including iFunny, which is just, a random meme app. If you don't know what
if they could track your shit.
And all it said was, it's like, we're asking if it's okay that we track you through other apps, like any apps. And I went and I was just like, whatever, fuck it. Because I know even if I say no, you're going to do it anyway, because that's just what you fuckers do. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, at least make them work for it, dude. Yeah, if somebody's going to rape you, you don't spread your butt cheeks and just let them like, oh, you're going to rape me. I'm just going to let you do it anyways.
Dude,
you volunteered for the military, dude.
Yeah, I literally spread my butt cheeks for a grown man.
So I guess for you, it's just normal then.
Yeah, like You use a metaphor. I legitimately did the whole bend over and then he looked in my asshole. Okay, so I've been there. And that's a real thing. It's the gayest thing I've ever done. Nothing to the gay people, but I'm not gay, so it felt weird for me. But yeah, it was crazy how it was literally, I was like, okay, Facebook, I get it. Instagram, I get it. Twitter, whatever. And then I went to iFunny and they made like a meme out of it where it showed like this cat face going like this. Like, and then the thing popped up and I'm like, well, at least they're making it funny. But I was like, this is insane.
Can I ask a question?
Like, yeah.
What is iFunny?
iFunny is literally just like a meme app. Like it's an app you can download in the iOS store and it's just a community where everyone just shares memes and GIF images and videos, and then people can comment on them. It's like the YouTube of memes.
Okay.
That's all it is. And the reason it's called iFunny is because it was originally an iPhone app only. You can get it on anything now. So that's why it had the iFunny, name on it. And it's just one that's been around since like early iPhone days.
So it's not exclusive anymore.
No, it's like Xbox and PlayStation. Everyone's just fucking giving each other games now. It's just everything's everything.
Interesting.
Communism. Potato. Different, still same. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, they're just being straight up about it. Like just being blatant. They're like, we know like you're on Facebook, but like if you do anything else, can we still follow you? Like, what?
They're trying to just be more polite about it now.
Yeah.
But that's what I said earlier about like how transparent they're being about all of this bullshit, whether it's on the phone, whether it's at the G7 summit, whether it's in like the stuff you're reading online. They're just being so blatant about it because it's like, well, we're so arrogant. We don't give a fuck anymore. We're just going to throw it out there and everyone's just going to be like, okay, and just go at it.
I think it's because of the way last year went.
Yeah.
They've seen again how easily people just bend over and keep spreading, and they're like, wow, we can kind of just be a little more upfront about this shit.
I think the Time magazine article had a lot to do with that. They were like, wow, we literally just got away with this.
It was just like, I still like it blows my mind for them to just write something like that and release it. And it's like, and then you talk to people about this stuff and they think you're like talking a conspiracy theory and some bullshit. It's like, no, these people literally wrote this article and like told you and laughed in people's faces that actually were saying there's some fuckery going on. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's so weird.
It is weird.
It's like we're living one reality and just other people are just living a totally different reality where it's just like
same I don't know but different, dude.
Yeah. Like different but same. It's
gotten to the point now where literally someone from like a government official, just completely hypothetical situation because I'm making a joke but a point. A government official can come up to some random citizen on the street and be like, look up. And they look up and they'll be like, the sky is green. And they're like, no, it's not. It's blue. And they're like, no. You got to wear these glasses. Trust me. It shows you the sky is green. And it's got fucking lens filters on it that makes the sky green. And someone will put them on and go, oh, it is green. And they're like, yep, see, we told you it's green. And they're just like, oh, I see that now. It all makes sense. And it's like, what are you doing? Like that's like literally someone's just like you're like, no, that can't be true. And they're like, but it is. And you're like, oh, okay, I believe you.
I believe you.
Okay, I believe you. That song should be a fucking thing. Jump in the line, like just getting in line like everybody else. Follow the leader. We're going off the cliff. Okay.
I believe you. It's so stupid. It's literally like, it's so weird. It's the last year or so has just been so weird how shit's played out.
Sometimes it just makes you want to start a shotgun. That's just me.
I don't know what you just said.
He was talking about Cobain in it, dude.
Oh. When I heard shotgun, I was thinking of a beer, and then I was like, that's not what he said. But
no, I said start a shotgun.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's one of my favorite suicide references. Sorry.
Could you imagine if you could actually do that without pulling the trigger? Like actually suck
that'd be
it
impressive.
Hard? Fucking, that'd be insane.
I've heard of strippers that can suck a golf ball through a garden hose, but have you ever seen a grown man suck a slug from a fucking 12 gauge? I don't think so.
It gets messy.
that Jimmy Carr joke where he's like, "You're brainier than Kurt Cobain's garage."
Oh God.
Thinking about suck starting a slug through a shotgun. I mean, if it does go off, I mean, it would be a sexual reference because at the end there's an explosion.
There is.
You're into some weird shit, bro.
You gotta hit that spot just right.
Listen, okay, let me put it in the reference. Okay, for anyone questioning why I'm talking to the listeners. Okay,
it's okay. They believe you.
You guys know that I'm fucking weird, but I'm gonna explain to them why I'm sitting here making jokes about suicide. All right, I don't think suicide's funny.
Because you're in the military.
That's the point I'm making. All right, because there was a video I watched. If anyone's seen the Veterans Network, it's the veterans that put like their whole TV show network together, where it's like all veterans creating shows for veterans. It's like a comedy network kind of, and this puts you in the mind of like fucked up military people and why they make the humor we do. And it was a skit where it showed a reporter talking to a active military member, and she was like, "If you had the choice between sucking 10 dicks or one dick 10 times, which would you choose?" And he's like, "Huh." She's like, "It's a serious question." He's like, "Oh, it's a great fucking question." He's like, "All right, let's break this down." He's like, "If you suck one dick 10 times, that shows a level of commitment." He's like, "And that's gay." He's like, "So I'm sucking 10 dicks." It was like the thought process. And when I heard that, I was like, I've had conversations like that. That's real. Like, it's a real conversation. And it was just funny. And I'm like, that's why we're all demented human beings. Okay, that makes sense now.
Because you guys spend too much time in the barracks doing nothing.
Or in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, so that I'm just giving context on why I made the jokes about suck starting a shotgun. If any of you were appalled by that, I apologize, but that's where that comes from.
You're appalled by it? Fuck you.
If you don't like it, just turn it off.
Yeah. You have
You don't like it? Get out.
You have the power. You have the technology.
But anyways, yeah, this stuff is the reason I'm making jokes is because this is turning into a joke. This entire situation. Yeah. Everything that's happening right now is just, I mean, SNL couldn't come up with shit like this.
No, but they're loving it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, they are loving it, but dude, SNL sucks, by the way. Yeah, Can we just admit like that?
It sucked for a few years.
It did suck for a few years, but even the Trump stuff was kind of funny, like because of what's the Baldwin guy?
Alec Baldwin, yeah.
Alec Baldwin, like that was fucking hilarious. Like I thought that show was hilarious, but then like the minute that ended, like the show was just trash.
You know what's hilarious? And I'm probably gonna piss off some people who might watch this because they're like super hardcore conspiracy people. Is it people who think that Jim Carrey is literally playing Joe Biden right now?
What?
Seriously?
Yeah, dude, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. I keep seeing it on TikTok. Oh, look, this is Jim Carrey acting like Joe. I'm like, what? Like, didn't you see SNL? Like, you would know. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I would believe that they cloned Joe Biden before I believe that fucking Jim Carrey is playing Joe Biden right now.
You think Joe Biden's the first successful stem cell clone?
No, I don't. Actually, I think we've done it for years.
But like successful, like he survived and all that, but he's just degenerating really fast right now. Like,
no, I think they've been cloning for years.
We did it good, but it's not that good.
We need more souls of children, quick.
That's one thing I've always kind of believed that Alex Jones has said, because he's always said his dad mentioned some stuff about successfully cloning people. I think that definitely does happen.
Yeah.
I don't know how prominent it is, like putting those people out into like the public to like, you know, make appearances and stuff, but I think it definitely happens.
When you get in that upper echelon, you would have access to stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're in the fucking halls of power that high up in the government. You definitely have access to shit that normal people don't.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they've been fucking cloning people, or not necessarily people, but just cloning since like the fucking 80s, and at least publicly that we know, since like the 80s and 90s and shit. Like, yeah. And you know too, the US has got their like ethics and stuff, so we don't do necessarily all that crazy shit with cloning. But China, who knows what the fuck they're cloning? Right. They have no ethics at all. Like, they just fucking, they have camps where it's literally people there until they need livers and organs and shits and hearts from them and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, I've thought sometimes. Like, there's some celebrities out there that I could buy into the fact that they were cloned because their entire like world spectrum and views have changed like dramatically and drastically. Eminem is one of them, by the way, that I could totally buy into that. But do I necessarily believe it? No. But could I see it? Yeah. Like if you had substantial proof, I'm not going to be blown away by it.
I think to me, like what you said about that, about how like people like that change like completely, like 180.
Yeah.
I think like the whole cloning thing, yeah, I've always thought that that's a legitimate thing, but I also think that it's more, I think more prevalent that there's brainwashing happening than there is people like that being cloned. I think that they're literally being like, I don't know how else to phrase it, not verbatim being beaten into submission, but almost like
there's other ways.
Damaging their brain and then making them relearn things and shit.
Kind of like what happens when you join the service. You know, you're who you are, and they break you down to build you up to what they need you to be. They basically rewire you and recreate you so that you think and operate differently.
Yeah.
You know, like even though I was making funny jokes before, I was never like that as a child. I was a weird kid, but I was never like that. And then like that's what I like became out of. It's like I went from who I was. You go into the fucking mill, rip, you know, you come out and they just spit and chew you out, and then you're a different person forever, you know. And it's like that shit's real. Like it's conditioning.
I want your opinion on something because I know me and you kind of talked about this off air, but since you're in the military, I want your opinion on this. What it was, whatever. You've got some experience. The whole theory with like the military not respecting Biden, like you talked about earlier, how you would always respect that office or whatever. And there's a lot of videos of, you know, Biden talking in front of military personnel and they're not, they don't have their badges on, their uniform. And like, you know, there's a lot of videos on TikTok where guys are like, you know, they're completely out of like uniform code compliance and stuff. Like, what is that, like a real thing, or is that just like people just really, really digging for something?
There is truth to that, but there also is differences because it depends. Like when I was deployed in Jordan, just using a real world example here, when I was deployed in Jordan, there was actually a video that circulated and people were actually talking shit about it. And I was there when that video was taken. Like I was there when Mad Dog Mattis, General Mattis, when he was still under Trump, came to Jordan, and I remember the motorcade came in. We were all there. We're like, oh, cool. He's got the big SUVs, whatever. We're like, this is going to be a fun fucking day because we spent 3 days prepping for him to come there. So we had to fucking clean everything. And okay, that's hearsay. I don't want to talk about that because that was horrible. But when he came there, he walked over and we were all just waiting for him, you know, just to see him. And he came over and talked to us and we're all just kind of like circled around him. Some people were in uniform, some people weren't. It depended on what you were doing when you were there because we were on, you know, the FOB, the forward operating base. So some people, it was their day off. They were in regular clothes. Some people didn't have hats on because we had certain rules and shit like that. Well, he was talking to us. He gave a great speech. It was fucking awesome to see that dude 5 feet from me and like talking and everything like that. And then
people posted in real person.
People posted that video, a couple different videos online, and I remember everyone was like, "Oh, you see people talking shit, like they don't know what they're talking about," and everyone was like, "They're not wearing the right uniforms. They're out of fucking code. They're doing this. They're doing that. Blah blah blah." And it was like, you don't know the rules that we have here. Like we're all fine. Like everything's fine. It doesn't matter. They yelled at us that we didn't have respect for him. This and that. There are instances like that where there is stuff you won't know unless you're there to know the rules of what's allowed or what you're supposed to do. Because sometimes you get told exactly like you need to wear this, you need to have this, you need to take this off, you need to have this on. That happens. So when you see a video like that, like you and me had shared to each other, where you see everyone behind Biden and you don't see name tapes or anything like that, there might have been an instance, because I've seen it, where they could have said to remove that stuff for security reasons or safety reasons, where it's like they don't want people's names broadcasted on live TV. That could be a real thing because it's, you know, security. It's, you know, you're basically throwing out to the world, these people are soldiers, you know, because these videos go out globally, you know, and terrorists and different people see that. And then they can go and attack those people because they're US soldiers and that's the enemy, you know. So there are instances where it's a national security thing. So that could be true, but it also could be true that they were fucking staged and they weren't allowed to wear that stuff, and they knew they couldn't wear that stuff where they have the flags, the patches, the US Army, the name tape, and all that stuff, because that's technically a federal offense of impersonating a soldier. So there's also that side of it. So you've got like this fine line between, it is very viable because I've seen it and been a part of it where they could have been told to do exactly that. And there's also the part of where it could be fake. And it's hard to juggle that because you don't know unless you're there. And that's where it gets tricky. It gets very, very tricky. So when I watched the video, me personally, I believe that it's fucking fake. And those people are there just doing whatever, because you watch movies today when people wear military fatigues, whether it's a full uniform, whether it's whatever, there's always something wrong with it because that is legally allowed. It has to be wrong, whether it's the collar popped up and closed in, whether it's the patches in the wrong spot, which is why a lot of military people get pissed off when they see those movies, because they're like, that's fucked up, that's fucked up, that's wrong, it's bothering me. But they have to do that because if they put it on right and they're not a real soldier, it's a federal offense and you could be prosecuted for that. So it gets in like this weird gray where people are like, that's bullshit. And it's like, you know, it could be true, you know, or it could be not. I don't know. You have to just honestly take it for what you believe.
Man, that was a long answer to give me nothing. I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you shit. I'm just giving you shit.
No, it is nothing, but that's the hard part. You know, it's like it's like an answer, but it's not. And then I'm just giving you the honest truth because I've been a part of that. You know.
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's where I think they like play into these conspiracy theories. Like they literally do it on purpose. Like, hey, don't worry. Let's have, like, let's say they're real. I could see them just being like, let's fuck with these people. Don't put anything on these people, and let's really get these fucking people going. And because somebody's going to notice that. I mean, it is obvious. It was weird to me not to see an American flag on any army personnel behind Biden. It was like really weird. I was like, this is fucking weird.
What made me believe that it's fake, the specific thing that was pointed out, and this is when I was like, okay, this has to be bullshit, is the female that was wearing a glitter face mask. The only two face masks, and I looked this up, I saw a comment on it, and I also looked it up. Plus, the glitter thing, I knew was fucking bullshit from the get-go because no one would be allowed to use that. And if it was a unit that was allowed to use that, that unit should be fucking eradicated because you're not allowed to... Eradicated.
Get the flamethrower out.
Any military member will feel the same sentiments as me. If someone walked out, especially behind the president, and was wearing a full glittered out, bedazzled goddamn fucking face mask with uniform, you're getting your ass handed to you. And I don't care if you're a woman, a man, whatever, that shit does not fly because you're not allowed to do that. There's rules on makeup, there's rules on jewelry, there's rules on haircut. They're very fucking fine-tuned on what you're allowed to have. And I can tell you right now, no flashy shit like that would be allowed whatsoever. That would probably fall under UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, that you would get fucking in trouble for that, for disobeying a direct order of fucking AR 670-1, which is the fucking, like the, God, it's been a while since I've done it, but it's basically what you're allowed to wear in your uniform, which is Army Regulation 670-1, which is the uniform regulation. But that's what caught me up. That's what I picked out. And I was like, that's bullshit. I was like, that's what makes me think this whole thing is fake, because the only ones that are allowed right now by the military is olive drab or black. Those are the only two colors that are authorized to wear as a face mask covering, because everyone has to be unified. That's the whole point of why everyone wears the same fucking uniform. So the fact that she's sticking out wearing this goddamn bedazzled mask, that wouldn't happen. And either she put that on last minute and she got her ass handed to her behind the scenes. It just seems like, no, there's no way. And that they would slap her right on the fucking back of the president and be on global television with this shining thing on. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
All right. Well, listen.
There's no way.
I'm glad I got you worked up, but turn your camera off and back on because you completely unfocused it while you're getting all fired up there.
They're shutting me down.
Yeah, that's like, fuck.
No, I could totally buy that it was bullshit. Mainly because me and Nicholas watched the movie Wag the Dog, and that movie has changed my perception on reality so much.
So much shit. I'm like, yeah, I could see like exactly what's going on here. This is fucking everything's staged now.
Yeah.
I was watching was it Kanye West with he was on David Letterman's show on Netflix, right? Is that what he's on? It's on Netflix or whatever shit.
I guess. I
And
don't know.
like I didn't really watch it at all. My cousin was over. He threw it on. I was like, I'll watch some Kanye West stuff. And he was talking about how like just his bipolar and the way his like thought patterns are and everything. And he's like, I'll get into episodes where I just feel like everything's staged. He's like, what's not staged? And I was like, dude, you're not the only one. You are not the only one.
Yeah.
Like, you're not crazy. I feel like that's a good mindset to have. Perfectly normal. You should always assume some bad shit's going on because that's just what it seems always happens.
I don't see anything wrong with questioning everything, you know,
No,
to an
I
extent.
don't think.
I mean, until you see like absolute truth, obviously.
Yeah,
You can't be one of those people where like, you know, absolute truth and facts are proven and you're still like, no, I don't think so.
yeah.
Can't be one of those people.
Can't
But
deal in absolutes.
you could certainly think like, are they brainwashing like, you know, celebrities? I mean, fucking, we got John Cena cucking out to China because he called Taiwan a fucking country.
And even like if you're thinking like, oh no, brainwashing, that don't make sense. Like, well, there's other forms. There's blackmail. They could just
Right.
throw money at people. Some people are just so easily motivated and bought off that they could just throw money at them. They don't have to do anything more than that. No heavy lifting.
Elon Musk,
yeah.
like we just talked about.
Yeah. You just start inundating them with enough money where it's not even necessarily brainwashing. It's just a slow corruption. It's a slow progression where more and more they turn on that tap and they don't want to turn that back off.
It's like Disney.
So it's not specifically brainwashing if people want to like get turned off by that idea by using that term, but it's like there's other forms of that shit going on. Look at Jeffrey Epstein and the whole blackmailing thing that he had going on. That's a huge thing, especially with the intelligence community.
Yeah, I'm starting to actually really believe the theory that he was working for the intelligence agencies.
He was. Dude,
And
Ghislaine
he was
Maxwell's father
helping
was part of
blackmail
the,
all these people.
yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell's father was part of the not Italian, but the Israeli Mossad, their intelligence community over there. Her father was an ex-Mossad agent. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that he was working for the intelligence.
Yeah.
I think of both countries, and just whenever they needed somebody powerful, just to tap on the shoulder when they need something. That's exactly what he was setting up. Was this network?
Yeah.
You know what's
Starting to
funny
really
is
buy into that.
we're talking about brainwashing and all that, and it's the one thing people don't think of when it comes to brainwashing is, and I'm talking any network, is the news. The news is the most blatant brainwashing tool used, period. No matter where you get your news from.
They are. I feel like they're losing control though.
That's why they're freaking out so bad. I think the way they are, they're flailing. It's like seeing someone that's death throes. Like it knows it's at the end. It could see the end. It doesn't really know what else to do, but just fucking freak the fuck out and try and burn the system down with it. Basically.
Did you see Rachel Maddow freak out about the audit in Arizona?
Yeah.
No, but I can believe that she would.
She's like talking about like it's the DOJ stop. They need to stop this. If you won't, who will? If you won't stop this audit, who will? Because it's literally like, it's pretty public knowledge now that it definitely didn't go Biden's way. And it looks like Trump is going to win Arizona after this audit. And she's literally like, it's up to you, DOJ. It's up to you. The country needs you. And it's like, what? They're doing the country a service right now by auditing this.
It's so weird when I've seen clips of where, not in that specific instance, like I said, I didn't see that, but like where she does those appeals to things directly.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I'm fairly convinced she's an intelligence agent planted in the news to help stoke these fears and all
she
this.
She always has those old ex-CIA heads on and shit.
Yeah, I'm fairly convinced that she is. But when she appeals to stuff like that, I feel like it's them making a threat directly to these things too. Like undercover threat almost, where like normal people they're not gonna think, they're gonna think she's just either some crazy bitch talking about this shit, or like, oh yeah, the DOJ really needs to do this. But a lot of times I see that, I'm like, I feel like this is them actually making a threat. This is the intelligence community like doing it right under our noses, just blatantly, but not blatant.
I can see it.
What I think is crazy too about that whole Arizona thing is, you know, these people, you know, making these statements like, well, I've been seeing it everywhere on different social media platforms. Like, well, they can't just like rip Biden out of office. You know, if this was, you know, this happened and they found this, they just can't replace him and put Trump back in and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if it's fraud, like that's what's going to happen, or there's going to be a process and we're going to figure it out. Like fraud is fraud. Like, you're not just going to be like, oh, well, yeah, you were right, but like he's already in, so let's just roll with it. It's like, no, No, that's not what's going to happen, because if it was flipped the other side of the coin, you wouldn't want that either.
It was flipped the other side of the coin. Let's not forget that
Yeah,
for 4 years, we
2016.
heard that Trump wasn't a legitimate president, that he only won it because of Russian collusion. So let's not forget that they literally just did this shit for 4 straight fucking years.
Oh, I know. And I've had that argument with people where I'm like, why when I talk about this, everyone's like, there's no basis for that. There's no this. And I'm like, it's all I heard the entire fucking
Yeah.
presidency. Like, it's all I heard. And now that we're saying it, it's all fucking debunked and bullshit. And
The
it's
most
like,
secure election
chill with the we're saying it, dude. I'll still be
talking about-
shocked if it gets overturned, personally.
I'm talking about
No,
we're
yeah.
as in like people who believe that it was fucked from the get-go, which I personally do. I'm not saying you
Oh,
two.
well, yeah. It was fucked, yeah. They told
Yeah.
us in a Time magazine article. They admitted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember
I'm
when I
saying
told-
I'll be shocked if anything happens like overturn wise. I will
No,
literally be shocked. If they couldn't get Trump out of office while he was president, I'll be shocked if they somehow lose power while they have it.
no,
They
they're not
won't.
going to,
They make
especially
sure of that.
especially with him and the whole situation with him packing the court, and they've been trying to make adjustments with voting rules and how many justices they can have and all these different things. Like the minute they got in, they've been trying to rewire everything that was in place so that they can bolster that shit
Prevent
and do
another
that. Like with the federal government not doing anything with the border right now. Did you hear what Texas is about to do? Texas came out in a public statement with border officials, the governor, everyone's sitting at a big table making this big media event. And Texas has publicly stated that if the federal government is not going to continue the wall with everything that's going on, they said that they have plans in place where they're going to start creating their own. That Texas itself will continue and finish that wall.
It doesn't surprise me. I did come across a law, actually, that if you live on the border of in Texas, that you could legally shoot an immigrant that comes on your property. I'm dead serious.
I mean,
I'm dead serious. And it's
I believe
funny.
it.
I was reading
It's
this
like a
article,
trespasser.
and this person was explaining how it's the safest place in the country because these immigrants know this coming across, so they don't stick around. They fucking get the fuck out of Dodge. I was like, that's fucking great. You know who turned me on to this article, actually? Your father.
oh, really?
Your father mentioned it something to me. He was like, it's the safest place to live in the country, dude. And you know how he does. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I gotta look this up when I get home. Sure shit, dude. I was like, oh, pretty interesting.
Wait. So you're telling me Chicago-style gun laws are
Yeah.
just what? What? You're blowing my mind.
Non-effective, dude.
I don't. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense.
It's Wild West, bro. No, but I was actually watching some pretty upsetting videos when I was looking into that stuff after I heard that from the Texas governor. And there were some property owners there on the border who have been wanting to get out, but they can't sell because no one wants to buy it because of the crisis
Oh, I
down
believe
there.
it.
And this lady was like crying on the news, and she's like, I love where I live. I love the property I have, this and that. She's like, I've lived here forever, but she's like, I can't sell it. And she's like, I've got people running through my backyard like almost every other day. And she's like, I'm in a constant state of fear. And she's like, I know that they're not all bad people and they just want better lives. She's like, I have no ill will towards them, but she's like, I always am afraid because I've just got random, people just roaming through my property.
Landmine.
And it's just like,
Clear that up real
Only
quick.
the strong survive.
but it's just upsetting that like your politics on what happens down south of our country is affecting U.S. citizens, and you don't give two fucking shits. You don't give a
Well,
shit.
they already been down there and visited. Everything's fine, dude.
Yeah. Kamala, I haven't been there. Well, I haven't been to Europe either. I don't know what your fucking what your point is. It's like we're
What are
not
you getting at, Lester?
Yeah.
Did you hear what she said about why she was in Guatemala when she was in Guatemala when they were asking her about the border? Did you hear her statement?
No, but probably the greatest meme of all time came out of that statement.
Ah, that TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
not come. Do not come. I'm gonna come.
That was the best. It's gold. It's gold.
But she said that the reason that she was in Guatemala when they were asking her, like, when are you going to go to the U.S.-Mexican border? Like, why are you not there? When are you going to go there? And she's like, I'm in Guatemala now. Let's talk about Guatemala. She's like, I think that that's what we should focus on. We're not going to talk about there when I'm here. Let's talk about this. She's like, I'm here so that I can get to the root of this problem for that. So she's in Guatemala discussing their immigration stuff to help fix our U.S.-Mexico immigration stuff is basically what she was saying in a nutshell.
Yeah. You know, I heard a great analogy to her example of that. And it
The fly,
was
the bees.
no, the bees. Yeah. If you go to work and you leave the door open and a bunch of bees come into the house and your wife freaks out when you get home because you left the door open and all these bees came in, and you go over to bitch at your neighbor because he's the one who has the beehive, but you're not mad at yourself because you left the fucking door open.
He's like, all we're asking you to do is close the goddamn door, and we got no more bees. But you're yelling over
go back
at
home
him.
and shut the door. Like, that's a great analogy.
I saw that, and it was funny when he said that. The other anchors were like laughing their asses
they couldn't
off.
even like handle it. It was a great analogy.
He's like, all we're asking is that you close the door. Why do you got to go over there to deal with it? We're right here.
I forget that dude's name. It's like something Waters.
Yeah, isn't he one of like the Fox News associates?
Yeah, he's something like that.
I mean, no
Fox
surprise.
Five or
Waters or whatever.
What is it?
no
Jesse Waters?
Jesse Waters, I think.
Something like that.
I mean, no
it
surprise.
was hilarious, dude.
That he's from Fox and makes that joke, but it was funny. I mean, it's a great analogy. That's all it is. It's like we have the problem here, and all we have to do is this. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna talk to them about fixing this here. It's like you're already here. Like, just fucking take care of it. But the problem is they know they shot themselves in the foot because they're like, oh, everyone needs to come here. We need to do this and then not be mean. And then it's their problem, and they're like, okay, y'all need to stop coming here. Like, it's making us look bad. Like, don't come here anymore. You're ruining our whole narrative. And it's just like, what happened? I thought we were the place where everyone can come and kumbaya, and we're all gonna hold hands and fucking eat s'mores and shit.
I love that you buy into like the fucking, literally, like, you buy into politics. That's all that is, Adam. They get you fired up to get mad at the other side of that. Like,
I'm mad at all of them.
It took me a while to wake up from that, but I just love seeing it because it's like, man, I used to be there. I used to be there where I get upset like that, but now it's like, it's just funny. I don't know. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just saying.
No, where my anger comes from is because I willingly worked for these dickheads.
I served this country. It always goes back to that. He's got to fucking throw that in our face.
No, it's not that. Like,
our freedoms were over in Jordan, and he went to go get them sons of bitches.
That's right. Thank God you went over to Jordan to save us.
That's where my anger comes from. All right.
He went and lived in Korea for us.
Listen, it's just like my sister. Every time I say something, it was 10 years of my life after school, and every time I'd be like, oh yeah, in the army, she'd be like, oh, tell us about the military again. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, that was my career. That would be like if you come home and you talk to me about how your day at work was, and I'm just like, oh, tell us about your 9 to 5 again. Like, I'm sorry, that's what I did for a fucking paycheck. Like, sue me.
They probably would.
Probably. But yeah, so that's why I go back to it, because that was my first career. My apologies. But yeah, I hate those fuckers. You shit. I hate them.
I'm just poking the bear.
I spread my butthole for them.
Spread my cheeks as my concho.
They showed that old man my star chamber. I don't know. I'm getting heated now. I don't even want to do this anymore.
Don't get heated.
Just walk off, dude.
Walk off set.
Drop mic. I can't. It's hanging up.
Just throw it at the fucking wall, dude.
Wait. Drop mic. There, I did it. Is there anything else you guys want to hit on this reset? Because I'm Carlson Tuckered out.
I'm good. I mean, I don't think we've been talking about the reset for 20 minutes, but
no, not at all.
That's how we started. I'm trying to
tying it back together.
I'm trying to circle back. Whatever.
Susan Ortega.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. I like it. All right, crickets from the peanut gallery. Thanks, guys.
We're completely off the rails now.
Yeah, we are. Oh, Oh, this is what y'all come here for, right? No,
But yeah,
maybe
the
different, same,
scintillating conversation.
different, but same. This is like the culmination of like when you discuss things going on in the world, you try to get like information, facts, you try to keep it civil, and the next it degrades down into this fucking goo of chaos and just random. It's eroding.
We're here with Catherine Heffron's mom.
Like the Great Falls are the bedrock of my life. I should sign this off this episode and be like, back to you, fuckers. If you haven't seen Bruce Almighty, you need to see that because that's what we're referencing right now.
I mean, the movie's old as shit, so you got to see it.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
I don't know.
Joe Biden, aka Jim Carrey's in it.
Oh, hey, Kamala Harris makes a special appearance. That monkey in the butt.
Hello, anal dwelling butt monkey. Did that monkey just come out your crack, man?
Is it bad that guy plays the same person in every movie?
Yeah,
He always plays.
His character's name is always named Hector every time.
I remember looking. This is the last thing I'll say before we wrap this up because this is getting fucking way out of hand. But I remember looking at his IMDb page. There was like an actual funny thing about if you look at like his credits, there's like the amount of times they have Hector, and like no matter what he's in. And it's like you want to talk about like typecasting someone and cornholing them into one role. It's like we're not only going to give you that specific character, same name, same outfit too. You're going to wear white t-shirt, baggy jeans. You're going to act hood as shit.
He's same, but different.
But different. Same.
But still same.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, if only he were real. Anyway. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up because we are getting off the rails and I don't want to get into more military jargon because I'll start having some PTSD, you know, that old chestnut. But thank you for listening. If you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate it. We love every single one of you. Thank you for getting us to 500 likes on Facebook. That's fucking amazing. That's a milestone that we've always wanted to reach. Kind of like a good solid number, as Joe Biden likes to put it. We
no
got
more,
you, bro.
Though. You only want 500. That's it. No more.
No more.
Yeah.
No
if we get 501, we're not doing any more episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, we could be the 501st though, dude. We need one
all
more.
right.
We need one
That's
more.
it. There's room for one more. After that, we're cutting it off.
We need one more for the rebellion.
To crush the rebellion.
Come on,
Yeah,
dude.
crush the rebellion. Rebel scum. I'm sorry. I
Rebel
apologize.
scum.
I apologize.
I thought
But,
I was a piece of shit. I'm just
I'm cutting this episode off. Y'all stay beautiful. Y'all stay classy. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. I love every single one of you. Have a great night.
Deuces.